All right, welcome back to Off the Tap. This week is episode 70, and we're doing Heineken's Zero non-alcoholic.
Dude, every time it ends in a multiple of five, it just seems landmark, doesn't it? I
Yeah, it
know we have
does.
so 70, the big 7-0. And speaking of O, the Heineken OO.
Yeah, 0.0.
So for those that fall into the category because they push the envelope of less than zero point 0.5, as we noted before, Heineken said, "Oh, we'll see it and we'll trump you."
And we'll not even raise you. We're going lower.
Lower.
Yeah. Oh, you
Oh,
bet
dude,
5? We're betting 1. That's what we're
I'm
doing.
I know we talked about this before. Like, I obviously have had a lot of non-alcoholic beers. I have had this one before, but it's been a long, long time. And what I'm super excited about, because I think I told you this, I don't want to spoil it, but it's to me the closest thing to the real version that
Hmm.
exists. And when I just popped the cap, I swallowed an entire skunk. That
Okay.
it, this is gonna be good.
So, I don't want to like try to fake my first taste of it because, whenever you throw a straw into a bottle of beer, it immediately foams out of the straw.
Oh
And
yeah.
so I had to suck up a little bit of beer because of the
Oh,
foamage. But I didn't really get to. I try not to like taste it when I do that. You know what I mean? I just kind of suck her down real quick.
well, I'm
So
just hoping that I remembered correctly because I love, love, love Heineken and any and all things skunky, and so I'm hoping that it has the right taste. But
yeah,
this one we could say is a true. Actually, it's not even called non-alcoholic, called alcohol-free.
yeah.
That's crazy.
Alcohol free, literal 0.0%.
Oh,
Not
man,
even
and
a point of a percent. A tenth.
smells not even fraction. It smells really delicious. Same green bottle, same exact. Heineken was like, look, just because it's alcohol free doesn't mean we need to change anything.
All they
Granted,
did was add the 0.0%. That's the only thing that was added on the label,
I think the caps are
and the alcohol free.
slightly, yeah. Um, Heineken is a OO. Dude, they call attention. That's good branding too. OO,
Hmm.
baby. Not even
Oh, oh,
remote.
oh, oh.
Oh, oh, it's magic. Anyway,
It is.
it's
It is
it's
magic.
it is. It's brewed with premium malt for a high quality, refreshing taste without the alcohol. Great taste, alcohol free. Simple
Yeah.
enough, Heineken.
I'm gonna get into it
Okay, I'm
and
gonna do a
actually give
pour
her a taste.
so we can look at color, but I'm not pouring the whole thing. It does have a lighter color
Yeah, I
than,
mean,
than
I think we're learning that's to be expected with these.
dude. It's so crazy. Look, I'm getting.
It's yeah. What a weird thing about the non-alcoholics, huh?
Mm-hmm.
We're kind of learning that you can just see right through it. Hmm.
So it tastes slightly different, but I think it tastes closer than all of the other non-alcoholic brews.
Yeah, it's not as skunky,
Yeah.
right? Obviously, we'll get into the specifics with the ratings toward the end, but it's not as skunky, but that's to be expected because there's no alcohol in it.
Also, this is out of the cup. I'm gonna sushi. Oh, the
Ooh.
virtue said. Mm. Um,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good though.
yeah, it's pretty close, man. So to me, it's like I said, if you take a Bush and a Bush NA, you're gonna know the difference. I know off pod we had some other varieties over the weekend,
Yes.
and all of them had just enough off where you're like, it's good, but you know. I tell you this, they're extremely refreshing. I find myself just
Yes.
for the refreshingness wanting
Yeah.
to drink one. Um, but this one's darn close. You can tell a difference, I'm not gonna lie, but it is, in my opinion, the closest of all. I stand by that. I went in with that mindset having tasted it before. Oh, but oh, but it's holding true to that. So
Yeah. Obviously, I don't know the other two that we have for the month. I believe you haven't had those, right? Or you haven't had one of them.
um
I don't want to get into the specific names here to give it away yet, but
yeah, there's one of them for sure I haven't had.
yeah.
Yeah. And
So
then
I've obviously never had any of them. So
And then I also, I mean, I know we don't want to spill the beans on the other ones that we had over the weekend, but I also went and got one more that we looked at that we didn't end up getting this weekend that I
Mm,
have at the house, and I did try one of them, and it was pretty accurate.
really?
Yes.
That's interesting. I mean, I don't
Yep.
know if we might wind up doing them at the on the pod at some point, but it won't be this month. So,
Yeah. We'll
um,
wait till somebody else has a meat, somebody's on antibiotics. Hopefully nobody breaks anything. Knock on
that's
wood.
a that's a good backup option.
What?
That's a great idea. I never thought. Anytime I'm on antibiotics, I'm just like, we're gonna postpone this week. But that's
Dude,
a good
you're
idea.
you're the one that told me that.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, we were on pod and I was like, "Hey, I need to take the week off." Like we had a delay or something. And because I was on antibiotics because I was sick or something, and you were like, "Oh, dude, we could have just done a non-alcoholic. That would have been cool." And I was like, "Holy shit, we should remember that."
Oh, dude.
So, as much as I would love to take credit for being the genius on that, I think in all of your buffoonery, you stumbled upon it and forgot about it.
Listen, we can't be smart all the time. Sometimes, we have a couple beers, we forget things.
Yeah, not these though. You see
But
what I'm
not
saying?
these. Yeah, no. It was actually very weird last week ending the episode and not having a buzz.
Oh yeah,
It
bro.
felt
And
very unnatural.
and honestly, I felt. I mean, not that I ever feel like terrible when I get up the next morning, but I did feel really, really good. Except I find that these bloat me a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, they bloat me too. But whenever even if I don't drink a lot, but like if I drink even two beers right before I go to bed, which is what I do when we record these,
Mhm.
I don't sleep well. And so after last week drinking these, I was like a little bloated in bed, but it went away after a little bit and I slept great.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's a magic to this, and this is going to sound terrible, but you're right. I think either I've been sleeping well, so I think either none is okay, or you got to have more than just a couple. Like I know that sounds terrible,
Of
but
the
it's
of
like
the of the NAs?
no, 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 no of beers.
Oh,
Like
no, not for
drinking.
me.
No, no, no. I'm saying drinking no beers, I will sleep good.
Yeah.
Drinking two beers, three beers, I don't sleep very well. 12, sleep really good.
No, see, for
So
me, it's
there's like a
like
threshold.
anything more than two, I'm done. I don't sleep
You
well at
don't
all.
sleep after
No.
slamming the sixer?
And in fact, the more drunk that I get, the worse I sleep.
Really?
Yeah, I'll wake up at like 1 in the morning and not be able to go back to sleep.
You know what? I think occasionally I go, but that's like if I like 3D and I'm asleep by like
Yeah,
six p.m.
yeah. You
That
wake up and the
that's
sun's still up.
yeah. You wake up, you're like, oh God, it's 10 o'clock. What am I gonna do?
Oh
Like that
God.
is a bad experience. But I think on a regular day, just having a couple, like six. I mean, I don't know, it sounds terrible, but like having more helps prolong the bad sleep.
Oh yeah, no, not for me. We all know that my body is very weird though.
Yeah.
My we found out whenever I was in the hospital that my body does the exact opposite of what it's supposed to do with medicines. So, not that alcohol
Hey,
is a medicine, but it
do
helps
you
a
think
lot of
it?
people sleep, doesn't help me sleep.
That's what I was gonna say. I wonder if you process alcohol the same.
It has to be something. My liver must just be weird. You know what I mean? It's got a weird chemical imbalance down there or something because it does not knock me out very well. No, here's the thing: is it does knock me out. Like I get tired and I fall asleep. I just can't stay asleep. That's the
Okay.
problem.
It was like I understood why you said down there because like it's obviously not your brain or where your mouth is, but like it was kind of weird to refer to your body as like down there as opposed to like just as it's in its entirety.
Well, my liver is down though.
Yeah, I mean, I
I
guess so.
guess
It's just,
technically it's like it's up. Technically it's up from the middle,
I mean,
but
this brings up a good point though. If let's say your body was a map, like most of like the metroplex real city areas are up top.
yeah,
By the time you hit waist, I mean, this sounds terrible, but by the time you hit waist and below, it's like West
it's
Texas.
it's
Like, yeah,
kind
there's
of
stuff out there, but
it's very rural.
yeah, not
You
vital,
know,
really.
with like one or two like significant locations to visit. You know,
Yeah. Yes, I would have. Yeah. for sure.
Like
Um,
landmarks. But then other than that, it's just like back roads. Bunch of blood veins, nothing else really going on.
yeah, I wasn't quite sure how we were gonna take that one. It just seemed very weird whenever it came out, and you were like, "Yeah, what's going on down there?" In referring to the rest of your body.
Yeah. Well, it's down. So
Yeah,
it's below my head. So it's down.
it is. I mean, it's a valid point. It was just kind of weird phrasing. Anywho, not a good segue to awkwardly dig myself out of that hole. One thing I'm going to bring up real quick, because it seemed like it's just on my mind. In an effort to be so intelligent, Microsoft Word, it's like, oh, did you mean to type it this way? It infuriates me that we've done this. I mean, how many? We're 70, right? I think I started at 32, episode 32, maybe, or 33.
Yeah, so you're at 38 episodes.
Okay, 38 episodes. I've been keeping the same damn Word document for 38 episodes now. And
Mm.
every time I put my ratings on for aftertaste, it automatically bolds that fucking number. I don't know why. And it's like Word, every single time I highlight it and I change it from what it is, I'm not too close to the hyphen or the colon, semicolon, if you will. I'm not too close to the semicolon for it
Can't
to be bolded. What the fuck's
can't
going on?
can't be talking about body parts and then just throw in a colon right there, bro.
I'm not too close to the colon.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I hate when that happens too. My Word does that all the time now, especially now that I'm back in school and I'm having to like read, use these Word documents, like download them, and there's just like random bold points in the document.
Dude,
It's so
what
frustrating.
what's crazy to me is that I think Excel, I know we weren't planning on covering this, but the world needs to know. The thing is, Excel's pretty good. Like if there's a format, like a chart, like a fake chart that you've built, and you've got like certain fonts and headings at the top, and you go out to the right and you type something in, it'll be like, you probably meant for this to be part of the chart, right? Let
Yeah.
me go ahead and format that. But if you type underneath it or over the top of it, it's like, no, that's not part of the chart. We leave that alone. Excel's pretty good. Word, fucking terrible all the time. I will be
That's the
on a
worst.
line and I'll just type something and they're like, did you want that to be titled and underlined? And I'm like, doesn't make sense that it would be, but all right, you sent it.
You said on a line, and I immediately heard you say on the line, like
Oh,
like what
like we got
they.
a caller?
No, well, no, I was thinking like because I just watched the internship with Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson,
Yeah.
and they're all always saying the whole time they're saying on the line instead of online.
Oh, on the line. I
Yeah,
got you.
yeah. So I just had to throw that in there because it's immediately what I thought of. Off the hook.
Off the hook.
Jimmy was off the
Jimmy
hook.
Jimmy was Jimmy was
He was off the
off
hook.
the hook.
Fucking
Anyway,
grind, bro.
dude, solid flick.
Hmm.
Okay, so things that we let's go back to nutrition facts on this bad boy.
Yeah.
We've gone over this week by week, but 69 calories. It's gonna be fairly heavy on the carbs though. 16 grams of carbohydrates. No
Yeah.
fat, no protein. But honestly, I think Heineken totes like 11 carbs anyways. The OG.
Yeah, I think it's up there. I'm pretty sure we should look that up before we make that statement 100%,
I
but
I'm gonna look it up right now, but earlier when I was googling the lyrics to Doobie Ashtray, my computer decided to freeze up. So we're gonna hope that I can get the nutrition facts for Heineken.
yeah. It's I just think it's always interesting to know these things cuz even the ones that we tried last weekend, we like looked at them just to compare them, the different calories and whatnot. What did you say this one was 46 calories?
69.
69. Ooh, that would have been good for last week's episode. Dang.
Oh, damn it. We missed it by
Yeah.
a week. Dude, we're the
Well.
worst at that. We're just like, hey, let's do all these Oktoberfests in fucking July.
Yeah. Oh,
And then
come
we're
on.
like,
Nah, we do them at the end of October always. Come on, bro.
dude, you guys want to do a Christmas brew? It's only March, you know?
Fuck.
Or we'll
Whatever.
talk about the wrong, like we'll have a whole like just
Mm.
sidebar conversation about something, and then it fits perfectly with
With
the
the
beer that
beer
we do
and
the week after.
yeah. Like when we
So
did risky business. Yeah. I remember that.
correct. 69 calories, 16 grams of carbohydrates. But the OG, like the original Heineken has 11 carbs. I was right.
Yeah.
Um, and 142 calories.
Ooh. Wow. Okay.
But 2 grams of protein, though,
Okay.
right?
Getting a little bit of protein in there.
Sure, I
Yeah, I'll
figure if you
take
drink
it.
enough of them,
Drink enough of them, you can get your daily intake of protein. You're probably way overdoing it on the carb intake, but that's okay.
dude. Also, too, zero point 0.7 grams of fat in the OG, and I have to say, fat's critical to survival. It's a fact that the body will die without fat.
Yes.
So
Well, yeah, it'll
it's a
start to eat the
well-rounded burn.
organs.
Well, I mean, it also transmits signals and all these others. I'm not a fucking doctor, but anyway, you need the fat. Zero point 0.7 grams. Heineken was like, hey, how can we get you guys some protein, get you guys some fat, plenty of cows so you can continue doing what it is you need to do and a little energized with the carbs. They're keeping true to that in the alcohol-free version outside of the protein and the fat.
It's going to be very hard for me to come up with different WWYBDs for all these beers. I got to be honest with
Yeah,
you.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm glad that you said that because my WWYBD, I always put it down with my scores, and it's kind of just a reformat of what I would have done.
Yeah.
Like I guess I'm thinking of it's kind of like when you say, "Oh, this is exactly what I would be doing, but not that." That was a shitty way to say it, but I'll explain whenever the time comes.
Yeah.
You'll get it. You'll
Mine's
get
going
it.
to be rough.
Oh, okay.
I don't even remember what I said for last week, honestly. I've already forgotten. But I'm pretty sure this is going to be the same thing.
That's fine, dude. No harm, no foul. Um, Mine kind of ties into a few things that we were going to cover. But so we got the nutrition facts out of the way. Very carb heavy, as are have been all the other ones. I think a middle of the road as far as calories are concerned. Water, malted barley, hop extract, and natural flavors. Hop extract. That seems a little different. We're gonna
So
check that versus,
they're just using the hops and then extracting it, I guess, huh?
I guess,
Or is it more of like a
like
more of a mixture?
vanilla. Oh no, it's the same thing. So Heineken has malted barley, hop extract, and water.
Hmm.
Um, so same exact goodies. It's just they're de-alcoholizing it.
We'll roll with it. I like it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we de-alcoholized it,
that's usually my job, but that's fine. I'll let you do that one.
dude. I stuck my neck out there, and I'm glad that the Godfather of all create, you know, verbiage creation
All right.
just blessed upon me. I was knighted with the ability to
You were
create.
I was I was knighting you. Yeah, so we mentioned that we tried some more non-alcoholics this last weekend, and that was because we hung out and watched some college football. And you can't watch college football without beer, and since it's sober September, we had to get some non-alkies.
For sure.
Yeah,
I really, really enjoyed it because it was like I haven't done a full college game day in a while, so thank you
yeah.
for committing that to me. It was more necessary than I think you feel it was necessary. You were just like, yeah, let's get together and watch some college football. And
Oh
what
no,
I
I
heard
needed it,
was,
buddy. I promise.
okay, good.
I really needed it.
What I heard was we're gonna get together and do nothing but watch college football, and that's basically what we did. Obviously, we did some other things, but
Yeah, a
for the
little bit of
most part,
grilling.
yeah, it was just dedicated to watching. Like, because the on the first week we were like we were at the beach, we had other stuff going on, and so like I caught a couple of key games, but I wasn't able to sit and watch and jump from channel to channel as one should do on a
Yeah,
Saturday.
absolutely. Or in the best case scenarios, have multiple TVs where you just have all the games going. But
Oh
you
yeah,
can't always do that, obviously.
no, I still haven't figured that out with the old what is it, multicast or whatever. I got to figure that out.
Yeah.
But that does bring us to a good point. So college football, the elephant in the room happens to be, and here's the thing, everyone unanimously agrees. I've never had an argument with somebody that's like super in
Mhm.
support. Like, why are we still doing the rankings if they're arbitrary? I
And
wrote this down and it wasn't auto corrected, and so you that just bestowed upon me the ability to create verbiage. Arbitrariness.
Oh, okay.
I wrote it out and it didn't redline it. And
Hmm.
Word's usually pretty good at telling me I'm an idiot. So, why is it that we settle for the arbitrariness of college football rankings to this day?
At least this early on in the season, right?
Dude, I'm going to
Like,
say, like, okay, yes, you're right. But, like, think about, okay, I'll let you make your point. But here's the thing you have to start, you have to start somewhere. Otherwise, the bullshit justifications you make along the way to change those scores that do become relevant later on don't exist. Like, I understand we need a ranking system, but I'm just saying if you
no,
start off fundamentally flawed with blasphemy and then things occur throughout the year that only use the foundation of the original blasphemy to adjust upon, that's a problem.
well, no, but here's what I'm saying, right? Is that like if we didn't really rank for like let's say the first like 5 weeks, right? Or we let like a month go by at least before we do a single ranking. You can still use schedules and games played and games won against certain teams to determine the ranking. Like it's the same thing. You wouldn't have to like have the rankings to justify anything.
So, okay, on that point, then I guess I would ask this question: do you feel that because that's technically what they do, right? They look at schedules, they look at your record, they look at all these things. Once you're 5 weeks in, hear me out. Once you're 5 weeks in, but I think the veil of artificial bullshit that's planted week 1 through 5 overshadows performance and schedule strength.
Yes, it does. That's
Okay.
what makes the ranking so dumb.
Okay.
Like what I think makes it dumb for like the first, right? Especially for like the first week or two, right? Because the first week, the preseason rankings roll out, and it's always based upon like how you were last year, plus, kind of what your team's looking like. You know what I mean? What is your expectation and whatnot, which is whatever. We're guessing. But then we get into week two, whenever you start to shuffle people around, whenever I don't know, there's maybe one good matchup in week one every year.
Hmm.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So realistically, nobody should ever move after week one, in my opinion.
Well, and for that matter, you have well, I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to disagree, but let's say
Unless like
number
Alabama
2.
loses week one, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Like, no, that's a whole other side boat. I was gonna pick any person but Alabama
I
because
know
God
that's
forbid
a,
they drop from the top 5. But I was gonna say two, like if a seeded player loses to like a number 1 or number 2 loses to somebody, or okay, let me phrase it like this: if anybody but Alabama that was in the top 5 were to lose to somebody that's unseeded, then they should be dropped down.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I'm
Yeah,
not
but
saying that Alabama's
typically
not
that
deserving; they just won't fucking do it.
no, but typically that doesn't happen, is what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
the odds of like a freaking Montana State Community College beating Georgia in week one is like 0.0000001%,
Actually, it's hilarious you brought that up because I can't remember who Alabama played first week 1, but it showed there was a pie chart of the probability of the team winning, and it was 0.2%. And this guy just commented, "So you're telling me there's a
There's a
chance?"
chance. Yeah. Yeah. I mean that's how kind of every team has to go into it in week one. Every, unfavored team because they're like there's no way.
But I would say that's the exception, right? They should definitely remove them from being seated. But I just feel like we place too much confidence on a system that's not systematic. That's a shitty way
Well,
to phrase that, but like,
and the other thing too that really triggers, I know, like it makes me mad and it makes a lot of people mad, is that your top 10 always include like six SEC teams, right? Because the
yeah,
SEC is like the power conference, quote unquote. And it might like yes, some of the best teams in the country are in the SEC, yes, but also they play like 3 games against SEC opponents every year. There's like
yeah.
3 or 4 matchups against other SEC opponents, and the rest are like junior colleges. Like there's
Yeah.
no so like their strength of schedules are always horrible. I'm not saying they're bad teams, right? I mean the SEC obviously wins the championship a lot. They're good teams, but I'm like their strength of schedule is horrible compared to a lot of other people.
Yeah, you're right.
So
Um,
that makes the rankings even more arbitrary to me, you know.
yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. But I mean, then I always do ask the question because I am a supporter of the SEC, but like I always ask the question of this. Like if you took a, you know, Big 12 team and made them play every single SEC team, what's the probability that they come out ahead in 50% of those games?
Not great.
Okay, so like do they deserve to be in the top 10 seeds, I guess is my question.
Well, I mean, it's kind of unfair because you know if a Big 12 team, for example, had to do that, right? They had to play nothing but SEC teams. Those
Yeah.
SEC teams are getting bye weeks playing freaking Division 3 college football teams every other week.
Okay, I
You
guess
know what I
okay,
mean?
let's put it this way. Let's take and we're going to take somebody, you know, I don't know, I don't want to use Georgia, I don't want to use Alabama. I don't want to
Auburn.
use Nah, let's use like well, again, I mean maybe this is justifying the system itself, but all right, let's take Oregon under normal circumstances, okay?
I was Oregon in the SEC. They're not in the
No, they're
SEC.
they're not. They're not, but
That's what I
this
say.
is the example I'm
They're
giving.
definitely not Southeast. That's
No,
what,
no, no. Let's take Oregon and let's give them an identical schedule to Ole Miss, or give them an
mm,
identical schedule to, you can pick Alabama or you can pick Georgia. Identical schedules.
yeah.
Who's going to win more games?
I would say it's probably pretty close to even. I would
You
say
think you think Oregon with the same exact schedule as Georgia or Alabama is going to win the equal amount of games?
they have a chance to. I don't know how good Oregon is this year, quite honestly.
No, okay, right. Again, this is on.
So
I'm just saying, like we hear all about the powerhouses that stay in the top five. Penn State, like
yeah,
whatever. It doesn't matter. Whoever's in the top, Ohio State, right? Like, I mean, that's a bad
I
example, but
think
I'm
they
just saying,
have.
like,
I think they have a very good chance of only losing 2 games, which losing 2 games gets Alabama into the college football playoffs every year. So
but dude,
that
there's a pretty big, there's a pretty good representation if you think about it, right?
what do you mean?
I mean, because I'm just thinking about it, and like, yeah, there are a bunch of SEC teams, but like, then you're gonna always have Michigan State. You're gonna have Um, the Longhorns are up there. USC, Ohio, Penn State, Washington, Notre Dame. So, dude, there's a lot of folks that are non. I mean, yes, Tennessee's there, Alabama's there, Georgia's there, LSU's there, Ole Miss is in
Well,
there.
and UT is a Big 12 team right now,
I know, but
but next year them and OU are going to be in the SEC.
correct. And OU
Um,
obviously is already up there too.
I mean, this was so the main game that I went over to watch with you was the Alabama and UT game, right?
Correct. Phenomenal game,
And
by the way.
yeah, and UT was ranked 11 and Alabama was 3, I believe.
Yeah.
And we both thought, when UT won by 10 points, we both thought
Nine.
maybe jump to 9, maybe 8
Yeah.
if we're being generous. And then the next day they released the new rankings and UT was 4. And I was just kind of like, I realized we beat Alabama, okay?
Yeah.
I realized that. That's pretty significant, but also all those other teams that we jumped won all of their games. And a lot of
Yeah.
them won very easily. And I
But
realized I don't know. I was kind of like we jumped 7 spots.
no, I agree, and like I don't know, USC probably killed whoever they played. I didn't watch the game, but like,
Well, yeah, they didn't really play anyone big though.
yeah. So that's the thing. I get.
Yeah.
I've had that argument made too because I always bitch about the ranking systems, and everybody always seems to agree. And I'm like, if the masses agree, and I'm talking SEC, non-SEC folks, right? They all agree that it's just trash. But I have heard someone say this, and it does make sense that if you let the system play out, Okay, you have to start somewhere, and that's the ridiculous seeding coming into the first year. You can't go because I always used to make this argument too. Well, wherever you ended up last year is where you're seeded the previous year. Okay, but you really can't start that way either because there are a lot of things that change, right? When you have graduates, you have incoming
Yeah.
freshmen, you have it right. So I understand that they have to manipulate for that, but I can't remember who I was talking to. But their premise was basically this: just like last week. Okay. So, yes, USC won, Ohio State won, Penn State won, Washington won, Notre Dame won, UT won, and they played Alabama. Those other folks, if they would have lost, would have had the opportunity, obviously, to fall lower.
Yeah.
But with a win, they stay stable because they're not playing the caliber of player, the caliber of team.
Yeah, I mean, I
That's
get
right.
it.
So it makes it, and so then I ask this question. I always ask this question. I'm like, well, that's not fair week over week, and they're like, you're right, it's not fair week over week.
But
However,
over the season,
over
it'll
the
play out.
season, yes. Now that
Yeah.
the only flaw to that system is strength of schedule, like you just mentioned.
Yeah, because
It's the
here's
only thing
my
that flaws
thing.
that.
Because here's my thing too is like you get a team. I can't find a great example off the top of my head, but like you get a smaller college maybe right that goes undefeated all year,
Mhm.
but they don't ever get an opportunity to go. They're a really good team, right? But they don't ever get an opportunity to go up against like an Alabama or a USC or something like that to like prove how good they are, and they go undefeated, and then you get a two-loss Alabama team in the final. Like, yeah, Alabama might be better, but we don't know because the matchups aren't the same. You know what I mean?
I guess you're right.
That
I
always that
do
always frustrates me when we have like a 12-0 team at the end of the season that's ranked like 25, and you're like, oh well, McNeese State might have had a chance if we would have let them. You know what I mean?
doubtful, but yeah, I see what
Well,
you're
we got to give
saying.
them a chance, though. I mean, that's
I
kind
mean,
of
but
what
do you
happened with
though?
like it's kind of like what happened with TCU last year, though. I guess they like threw TCU in there because TCU I think lost one game, maybe they might have gone
Yeah,
undefeated, and they got rolled by whoever they
literally.
played in the
So
CFP.
I'll make this argument in high schools. Okay, there's a state championship for 2A. There's a state championship for 3A. There's a state championship for 4A,
Yeah,
5A, now 6A, right? There's a reason for that. Okay.
yeah,
McNeese State is a 3A high school football
I
team.
I get it.
Georgia is a 6A high school team. See what I'm saying?
I get it, but like also that's why we have like an SEC championship and a Big 12 championship and a Big 10 championship and a Pac 12 championship because that's all in their own division with their own kind of recruiting power, right?
So didn't they toy around with the playoff system that
Yeah,
was
they're gonna
supposed to
expand
help
it.
with this?
They're gonna expand it, I think, to like 10 teams or something.
Okay.
Maybe 12. I don't remember. But yeah, they're gonna expand it, and it'll be like a legit tournament almost at the end of the season. I don't know how it's gonna work exactly because it's gonna add like another month of football onto the end of the year.
Eh,
But
I don't.
I mean, not that
I,
anyone's gonna be mad about that, but
no, most college programs are self-funded. I think they're making some pretty decent revenues for themselves.
oh yeah, for
So,
sure. But
but I'm
yeah,
just glad that we could bring that up. It's been weighing on us. It's been eat. Oh, but this brings us to our next point. Sorry, this is the point that we were making. We said all of that, cleared our chest to say this. With the new and emerging technology of ChatGPT, why are we still having a who's making these? Is it an invisible board of people that are casting their votes for
it's
this?
a board of people that are elected and
Bro,
they
and I feel
cast their
like they're
votes.
doing it. They're still doing it by fucking paper ballot. Like I just know they're doing it by paper
You
ballot.
know they don't use Excel or anything like that. No,
No.
no, no. But it's really weird how they do it too because they give. I don't remember how. I don't know if you go like 1 through 25 on your rankings or whatever, but you give like your first place vote to a team, your second place vote to a team, and you go down, and then they're tallied up, and whichever team gets the most first place votes gets first place, kind of like that, right?
Yeah.
But it also it's kind of weird too because I'm pretty sure it kind of mix and matches. So like if two teams have the same amount of second place votes, but one has one more third place vote, they get number two. You know what I mean?
Ah, I see.
So it's kind of like it's a weird system Because you
So
can't
either
have like
way,
tied for third. You know what I mean? You can't do that.
I mean, I just feel like with all the technology that we have, why are we not dumping this into Chat GPT and letting it do its job? Because
Well,
not only can it simultaneously search every fucking article that's ever been written about every player on every single team,
and
it
every
would
strength of
probably,
schedule for every team that every team plays, the
yes,
player stock and the rating of every player on every team that every team plays.
the average strength of schedule over the history of the team and all of its football program, like all of
Yeah,
these things instantaneously can be
it could rank
calculated.
them.
So I'm not saying we need them to 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 factor in all of these things every week over week, but they for damn sure should be responsible the first 3 weeks.
Yeah,
Okay.
it should. Until things settle down and you actually start to see which teams are the real deal
Yeah.
of that season. I agree. We should do it. It should happen.
It's scary. You know, I almost wonder, but here's the thing, right? It's built off of what information is available to it. Like, would it be smart and lazy? I just feel like ChatGPT is going to start getting real fucking lazy, dude. And is it just going to go, yeah, let me Google college rankings and just give them that?
Yeah, probably. But you can also just write. I'm sure somebody has written some kind of code for this because people do crazy stuff with code, man. I learned a little bit of it in college, but I could never do something like that. But somebody out there has to have been like, bro, these rankings are way too arbitrary.
Yeah.
And they were like, I'm gonna make my own rankings to see who the real good teams are. Because if you think about it, it'd kind of be like a betting cheat, low
Yeah, so
key.
that I worry about that a little bit because, dude, if you have them at your disposal and you can just ask them questions like, who should I bet on for this and what money should I put down? Like, it's gonna have you don't have to struggle with your own statistics build anymore. Like I used to
Mhm.
have buddies that had like these massive spreadsheets of like I need to draft this player because historically after this many games he's going to grant me this many points and I can trade it. This was basketball. I could trade him at this point because I know later on in the season he's only averaging. And this was fucking a spreadsheet they were building for themselves with formulas and they would just plug people in. That is what ChatGPT can do real time all the time. So betting houses and casinos are probably about to get really screwed because no longer do you have to build the statistics for yourself.
You just
You have
ask.
they're just readily available all the time.
You just say, hey, who should I bet on to win this fight? Like, what are the odds of this person to win this fight or
Correct.
win this game?
And now obviously that doesn't work with cards and things like, like straight up casinos, but like as far as like betting books and stuff like that, dude, I would love to see the before and after of house wins versus individual person success before and after ChatGPT. You watch it, dude. It's about to start getting rowdy.
Oh yeah, it'll probably make some laws go into place.
Or odds are gonna change. Like I don't know how you would police it, but like odds would change
Yeah,
drastically, right? I would
yeah. Well,
imagine.
as people start to bet more on a specific person, the odds change. So yeah, that would definitely happen. But yeah, it is kind of terrifying how right, like how smart it could be, but also how dumb it could be. Because I've
Yeah,
seen a
because
lot of a lot of people are training it to be dumb.
with that. So I don't. Did we talk about this at all on Pod, or is this an off conversation that we had?
We talked a little bit about ChatGPT, but I don't know if we really got into it.
Because the other thing that really concerns me is so now they do have kind of like some blinders up and some like some I guess artificial intelligence built into the artificial intelligence that basically tell it like you don't want to be an idiot because it was just using what people were asking it and it was tailoring itself to answer those questions. And of course you make it available to the masses and they're just like, why do farts stink? And then like it answers that question a billion times and it wonders now why the fart stinks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As
Why
opposed to
does the
like
fart stink?
as opposed to like legitimate questions, right? Because it's pulling from this, I'm gonna call it cesspool now of shitty fucking questions that it's been asked.
Hmm.
But now they
You
have like fixed it, not fixed it, but they've given
put
it
up
the
like the put up
decision.
like bumpers on a bowling lane,
Yeah,
kind
basically
of.
like, hey,
Yeah.
don't you can be idiot, but not full idiot, like
Yeah.
get back
Don't go
on the
full
path.
potato. Never go full
Exactly.
potato.
You never go full potato.
No.
So things like that. But it's still I mean, it's still scary to think of. It's still shocking to think of. But like, yeah, dude, there's a like I feel like had they not done that, I'm not on one side or the other, but had they not done that, I think very quickly it would have just rolled over it and died. Like we would have just killed it in all of our
You
ignorance.
think? Or you think it would have
I,
just got so stupid and finally been like, I'm not listening to these people anymore?
I mean, it just wouldn't have been a useful tool, I don't think. I think it would have self-imploded had we let it just stay to its own. That's my thought.
It
Obviously, there's the other part of this where we let it stay to its own and it
it would have got so infatuated with the fart smell that it would have tried to grow a nose to figure it out, type thing.
probably. I got to smell for myself, which out of context is a really weird statement to say.
Gotta smell for myself.
You don't hear that a lot, right? Like, I won't believe it till I see it with my own eyes.
I
No
won't
one's
believe it till
ever
I
said that
smell it.
about a smell.
Bro, you gotta come smell this. It smells like donkey ass.
I smelt it
Oh,
with my own nose.
I won't believe it till I smell it.
Dude,
I'm coming. I'm on my way.
Disney wasn't writing that into a romantic illustrated
Prin-
cartoon.
Princess movie, Beauty and the Beast. Imagine that,
You know he had a smell, dude. Wasn't it like the 1800s,
dude. You know he smelled horrible.
1700s? And he was out in the rain and all? Fuck,
Like,
dude.
cause he ain't showering as the Beast, bro.
No, dude. And he would get wet and it was hot. There wasn't air conditioning.
Yeah, it was just it was musty as hell in that house or castle.
Ah. This brings me to another good point that this is a question we should ask, but dude, real feather pillows, they have a smell. You ever notice that?
That seems incredibly uncomfortable.
So no, dude, they're legit. They are super comfortable,
I just feel
but
like I
they
would
have a
get poked.
smell. Uh, oh yeah, you get poked occasionally with the little piece, the little vein that's in there.
Yeah, yeah.
But a real feather pillow has a smell to it. I don't care who you are, and that smell.
Smell like poultry.
No. It's kind of different than that, but it transfers to you. And like, by all means, feather pillows are comfortable as shit. They can get hot at times because that's what a feather does is insulate.
Hmm.
But there's a smell, and I don't like the smell.
Yeah, I think I'm
And
out on the
nobody's
feather
talking about
pillow.
this either. Like a highly
Huh.
sought after pillow, and they smell.
Highly sought. I don't know
Well,
many people in my
listen.
life that are going. I need a real feather pillow.
Okay, well, here's what I mean. Back in the day, before there were all these badass pillows available,
Yeah,
right?
that now
The
we're
My
talking
Pillow. Okay,
back in the day.
yeah. Well, back in the day, like anything, I would say mid 2000s. Bruh, a feather
Mm,
pillow was sought after, right?
I don't know about anyone I knew going.
Well, that's because we didn't have them.
Yeah, probably
They
for a reason because they
well,
smell and they
because they
poke you.
smell and they poke you, but also they're a little more expensive too. So that's what it is.
Yeah, I think I'm good on that.
Yeah, I
You
don't
know
know why
what? I
we're.
think actually, I don't remember if we had it or if it was just at someone's house that I went to, but they had like a decorative pillow on the couch that was a feather pillow.
Yeah. So those, well, a lot of times were. Did it have a
And
smell?
every now and then the spine would come through
Oh
the
yeah,
pillow and it would
yeah.
poke my neck.
I know, and it's one of those things where like whenever you're around it, I'm not gonna say when you're remotely in the room, but whenever you're around it, dude, you kind of are on pins and needles. You're like, this thing's
Yeah.
gonna jump out and bite me any
Yeah,
minute.
yeah, it's almost like you're about to get popped by a spider or like a wasp or something. You don't know.
Because it's kind of an afterthought. You're like, fuck yeah, I got this pillow, and you never do the whip like when you do the whip and tuck when you would whip it and tuck it
Yeah,
behind. I'm
no,
just,
you're gonna get a scrape on your neck, bro.
oh, bro, you're gonna catch a needle to the back.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
Can't
there's
do
a
the
sense
whip
of
and tuck.
insecurity that comes with them. I will put it that way.
You're always kind of on edge a little bit with a feather pillow, for sure.
Yeah.
Until you get too comfortable, and then you forget about it, and that's when it
And
gets
that's
you.
when it gets you. Yep.
Yeah, it puts you back on edge. Yeah,
It's like a snake that's coiled up all the time. And it's just like, is that motherfucker about to fall asleep? Twat! And then
yeah.
it gets you.
Ready to strike. Ready to strike.
Um, Yeah, so that's college football rankings. I'm glad you guys could hear us out on that one. ChatGPT can probably lend us a hand on that one. Um, well, I wanted to circle back. So, fun story. Again, I might have mentioned it on the podcast in the past, but I definitely needed to bring it up again. Heineken, the OG, was the first beer that I ever had.
Mm,
And people,
that's why it
it's so
holds
funny
such a
because
special spot in your heart.
it does. It has, and maybe dude, I truly think this. I love skunky beers, Heineken being one of them, and I think that's because I had that first one and I was like, this is terrible, you know? And but it just planted this seed right there on my tongue and it was like, oh, we'll get him, you know?
Yeah.
Fast forward many years and now it's the flavor that I crave. Along with
It's
probably
good.
millions of other people because everybody drinks Heineken,
I love a good skunkiness.
but it was just a weird thought to me that that was my first beer ever. I did not enjoy it. I was the stereotypical did not enjoy it. Now it's one of my favorites. So I wonder if I would have done that with like a, if Natter Days would have been around, then would I have enjoyed those as my primary drinker? I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not.
I'm just saying an argument could be made, I'm sure.
Yeah. I've never had a natter day, so I can't.
Neither have I. It seems like girls drink them around the pool. That's the gist I get.
I
This
know
is a bold
I
move.
know a male that loves them.
Okay, that's
I
fine.
I won't share the name, but I'll
Well,
just throw that out there.
I'm gonna create a very short list to ask you after this is over, but yeah, Natter Days are a I think that was Natural Light's way of saying, you know what, we're going after a demographic.
I think
Okay.
it was their way of saying these are our seltzers without being seltzers.
Yeah. It was a beer seltzer. It's almost like a 50-50 mix, right? No, it's like a lemonade beer, right?
Yeah, it's like a lemonade thing, I think, like pink lemonade or something.
Bro, it was unique. It was the remember Tequiza? You
So
probably
a
don't
lot of
remember
people would
that.
say it was off the hook.
It was
Not for
it
me,
was it
but
was
well, I've
off.
never had it, so
I've
I
never
can't
had
I
one
can't
either, but
rate
I've
it.
seen the cans.
But yeah.
So first
This
off, there's that. There's the Heineken. First off, yeah, starting with Heineken as a beer. Other things that make me think Heineken immediately every time I think of "Say It Ain't So" by Weezer, and because somebody's Heine is crowding
now is
with a
that a
T.
reference to Heineken?
Yeah, I believe so.
I always thought it was just talking about someone's butt.
I would say I'm gonna Google this, but I'm gonna say it makes a lot more sense to me.
It'd be a
That I mean,
Heineken.
it could
Yeah.
be anybody's anything. Somebody's bicep is crowding my icebox. Somebody's. Why would he pick Heine? And also,
I don't
wouldn't he
know.
say like ass or butt or
No, this is
rear
Weezer,
end
bro.
or derriere? You remember
No,
that?
somebody's derriere is crowding my icebox, bro.
That makes as much
It's
sense as fucking Heine.
way too many syllables, dude. Somebody's butt
No, it
cheeks.
has to be. Okay, listen, it has to be because somebody's cold one is giving me chills. Come on.
Listen, dude. All I'm saying is that when I was growing up listening to that song, I always imagined that it was somebody's butt. But obviously, that was because I hadn't consumed a Heineken, so I didn't understand the you know nickname that people give it. Okay,
Okay,
that's
I
my bad.
also now that okay, here's the thing. It's spelled like Heine, but I also don't know what Heine is spelled like. You know what I'm saying? Like
I would just say Hiney.
Chi-
That'd be like the butt Heine, right?
Heine. I don't know.
Like a Heine, like a Heineken. I would say it'd be Heine. Heine.
I mean, Heine is Heine. That's how Heineken is spelled.
Okay.
Heine.
Yeah.
And so in the song, the lyrics is somebody's Heine, Heine.
Okay. So listen, you're right. I'm just saying, when I was a kid growing up, that's what I thought because
It's
I didn't
I
understand the
but
correlation.
but last thing I'll say, and then we can put this to rest. Listen to the resolve of this. Somebody's Heine is crowding my icebox.
Hmm.
Makes sense. Somebody's cold one is giving me chills. Okay?
Hmm.
All makes sense. Guess I'll just close my eyes. All right.
All right.
Did that
Okay.
solve the situation? I have no idea.
I don't know if this was a was it a bad crowding?
All
You
I'm
know, I
saying
mean,
is like if my icebox was being crowded by somebody's heinies, somebody was cold one was giving me chills, I wouldn't just close
close
my
my
eyes
eyes.
unless it was one of those slow like internalizations that this situation is fucked like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I think they meant.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody's cold one's giving me chills though. I don't do you close your eyes when you get the chills? I don't.
I don't. I can't.
Usually I wake up cuz I'm very
I
uncomfortable.
um that is definitely the equivalent of rolling down the window when you're driving home and you're gonna fall asleep.
Wait, what?
Um That's why I roll down the like if you ever get real tired and you're driving, that's why I roll the window down to let
Oh,
the cold air hit you in the face.
yeah, that may unless it's 117 degrees outside, then it's the hot air hits your face.
Nonetheless,
Yeah.
same, yeah.
In
You're
fact,
either
it's
so uncomfortable that you can't fall asleep because it's too cold or it's too hot.
yeah, because you're either freezing or you're drenched in sweat at that point.
Glad we could put that to yeah. So that's what it makes me think of. Somebody's hiney is crowded my icebox,
See, it makes me think of Austin Powers.
and for multiple reasons. But shoot,
Oh, dude. Hands off my hiney, baby. Right?
did he make a reference in more than one movie, or I mean, at
No, no,
least the
no.
first
It
one,
was
right?
only with the twins. I don't know. It wasn't even
Oh,
the first one. It was with the
I think it was
twins,
yeah.
and is in which was
Twins.
in Goldmember, right?
The third one, yeah.
I think so. Cause yeah, twins, Basil.
Twins,
Twins.
Basil.
Look at me. That was Foss. Look at
Look at
me.
me, look at
Look at
you.
you. Oh man, yeah, that's when he makes it. And then Heineken is brewed in Holland, and later on, Goldmember himself says that he's from Holland.
Isn't that weird?
Isn't that weird? Yeah. Always makes me think of it though. That's and now, right now, it makes sense being in Say It Ain't So, being Heine, right?
Yeah, get off my hiney baby because they it ties it all back. I'm
That's the
not gonna
same
lie,
thing.
for a split second, if you could just cut a clip, you almost fell into like late middle age redneck white woman because you said and now and it teetered right on the edge of it, and I was like, what?
And now,
Yeah, so just watch it. You were like right there. I was like,
mm,
damn. But
mm,
yeah. Um,
it does.
yes.
I just always think of Austin Powers every single time because I grew up watching them, and that was just one of the funnier lines from that movie for me. Because obviously, being like an 8 year old, or well, I guess no, that one came about probably 8, 9 when
Maybe.
Goldmember came out, somewhere around there. You know, you don't understand that it's a Heineken. Like the Heine means Heineken, even when he holds it up, because you're
Yeah.
like, what is that? You know what I mean? But it's just a funny little adult joke.
To me, also, last comment that I'll make on Heineken proper or the non-alcoholic. Whenever I think of like in a movie or you hear people say like it doesn't matter like in a movie when they're like yeah man like after work we'll go grab a beer or hey man I'll meet you across town at the place they always meet at Jay's or whatever we'll grab us a pint we'll grab us a beer in my mind unless it's Cheers because they were always drinking out of pints I always default to the beer they're drinking being Heineken. And I don't know if that's programming to me, but like if I ever watch a movie, like let's say for instance I'm watching an episode of Suits, okay?
Mm.
And he's like, "Oh, hey, let's go grab a beer after work." I immediately in my mind picture them walking in and drinking Heinekens. Or like and it doesn't matter what it is, dude. It can be from the 80s, it can be from the like modern times, it could be from early 2000s, it could be 90s. If you're ever leaving work, whether you're blue collar, whether you're white collar, does not matter. If you're ever leaving work to go somewhere and grab beers with the boys after work, it's a Heineken.
It depends on the color of the bottle.
No, I'm not saying that is what they drink. I'm saying
Oh,
in my mind when they say it out loud or when I hear
it's a
it,
Heineken.
immediately, dude, it cuts to a scene where all you see is their wrists and then
Yeah,
that's it. You know what I mean?
yeah. No, yeah, I get that. It's either that or like I watched Workaholics, right? And
Yeah.
they did it's like the standard movie set canned beer, and I can't remember what the name of it is off the top of my head, but it's in like almost any, especially low budget stuff, like low budget movies and
Is it
shows.
is it like a beer? Like is
No,
it a
it's
real brand?
no, it's a fake beer.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure it's fake. I mean, I've never seen it to buy it anywhere, but it's just like a TV set beer, and I can like picture the can, but I can't picture the name of it. And I always think of those,
Hmm.
um, either those or yeah, the green. If I see a green bottle, it's immediately a Heineken to me.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Either that or a Rolling Rock, but not many people are whipping out the Rolling Rocks here. So
So he said this it's called Hessler or Heisler.
yes, yes,
Today I learned that the Heisler beer they drink in Workaholics is a fictional beer brand.
yeah.
Okay.
But it's in a bunch of. I've seen it in a bunch of stuff. It's like a movie set thing that
Dude,
they
that's
do.
actually pretty genius because if you can't have a real brand, your only brand could be fake brand.
Yeah. Imagine if they what they should do is just double down and make it non-alcoholic.
They should and brew it and sell it
Yeah.
cheap to movie sets
Yes, they should.
and the world,
Or yeah,
honestly.
to the work to people. You know how many people that watched that show that would go buy that beer even if it was non-alcoholic? I would.
Wh-
That's all I'm saying.
Which is also the exact point why they don't use regular branded beers for the most part in TV
Yeah.
shows.
Well, that and uh
Right. Yeah.
advertising.
Yeah. Copyright or
Yeah,
whatever.
like the only reason you see like Bud Light and stuff and certain shit is because they pay to have their beer in it. So,
Like,
just that reason.
get your hand off my Heine.
Heine baby, exactly. All right. Well, we got to get into the WWYBDs here. Um, I let us go a little bit longer than normal before we got there because I figured they were going to be pretty short.
Yeah, no. Mine and my rankings are going to be pretty short too. Mine, and I hate to take this away from you, I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but mine is a sober Saturday college football afternoon.
Yeah, I mean,
So
I
it's a
see.
regular college football afternoon, but also I can be productive afterwards and I don't feel like shit on Sunday morning.
Yeah, and it pairs well with brats.
Yeah, it pairs well with brats. And aside from the bloating, regular Saturday. Well, honestly, that kind of fits too.
Yeah, regular Saturday all around. Quite honestly. Yeah, I was gonna say, maybe if like I had to go to like if I was going to play some golf with the boys, but I had to be sober afterwards for some reason. This was definitely my sober golf outing beer,
Yeah, dude,
100%.
because it's so refreshing and flavorful, but doesn't wear you down. I don't feel like I need a nap when I get
No,
done.
no, I do feel like I want to. I mean, I'm already sitting down, but I do feel like I do want to like sit down and maybe like squeeze a burp out somehow.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I don't really want to
Oh,
nap
sure.
per se. Oh, sure, but yeah.
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah.
Where
Okay.
you at? Oh, okay, bud. Where you at? But I think that non-alcoholic beers would be sacrilegious to Canadians. They love their hockey and their beers. Where you at on ratings?
um,
Now that you have one, two, three, four under your belt as a frame of reference, right? Also, that's
yeah,
by the way, that's almost kind of we didn't really have to have beers on Saturday, but I think we needed to build a better foundation upon which he could rank those that we were going to do on pod for you guys.
yeah. Um, so this one of the four that I've had now is definitely my favorite. Entry, I've got a five, and aftertaste, I have a five. I think it's very, very close to the real thing. Especially the aftertaste, you get a little bit of the skunkiness, and I really like that. Um, Body, I have a 4. I think overall it doesn't taste as like watered down as the other ones do.
Yeah.
So I really like that. Color, I gave it a 4. It's lighter than the original, but I think that's just normal for the non-alcoholics. So I'm just gonna leave it kind of right there in the middle. Bitterness, I have it at a 4. I can't really tell a difference between all of them on the bitterness scale because of that just non-alcoholic thing going on, you know. Acidity, I have a 4, solid, above. It could almost be a 5, but I didn't want to give it a 5 because maybe there's something a little bit better. Fizz, I have it a 4. I did have some burps, not the most burps, but they were enjoyable still. So my total is a 30.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I'm not that too far off from you. Entry, I have a 4. This is one of my favorites, but I don't think it's my favorite, but it's one of my favorite non-alcoholics. It is a 4 on entry, stays true. It's a 4 on aftertaste. Body, I have it as a 4 as well. Color, I do have it down at a 3. I feel like if you've gotten that close with everything else and you had to sacrifice something, I think it should be color. However, hey, let's put out a version 2.0. Let's get that color back. So I have it at a 3. Bitterness, I have it at a 4. It's kind of right where I would like it to be. I think I don't know. I mean, I know that I need to be comparing apples to apples. So non-alcoholic to non-alcoholic, but like since I am very familiar with the Heineken and I know what it's trying to mimic, I feel like it could be a little more bitter. It could also have a little more acidity, but I have that as a 4 as well. Fizz, I do have it at 5. Man, I enjoyed them all the way through. They felt real. Like with some of the other ones, it's just like burping bready water. This kind of felt like an actual beer burp, which is pretty
Yeah. It
nice.
tasted like a beer burp.
Oh yeah, it's gonna stink. Like you have a couple of these bad boys and rip a few off in an elevator, people are gonna think you've been throwing them down. So total 28.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say this too before we end the episode here is that of the 4 that I've tried, this is the one I'm going to get the most.
Oh yeah.
Like for a sober college game day, this is my number one choice. For any sober occasion, this is my number one choice. Plus, it's actually 0%. So
And it's also starting to become we talk about O'Doul's being the flagship. This is starting to become more and more available everywhere just because Heineken's available almost everywhere. In
yeah,
a bar setting, right? Maybe not at grocery stores and stuff like that, but any bar you go to is going to have Heineken. And if they stock Heineken, it's almost like they have to stock the Double O.
and it's advertised a lot.
Yes.
Like a lot, they advertise it a lot. They're really trying to push it. I don't know why they're trying to push it so much, but I'm not mad about it.
No, yeah.
All right, well, we've gotten to that point in the podcast where I'm going to tell you to go follow us on social media on Twitter and TikTok at Off the Tap Pod, and on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Off the Tap Podcast.
Hats off to the Double O, the super sober Saturday secret agent.